My name's Johny Pitts, and although I grew up in the UK, I've always been inspired by my father's African-American heritage and the civil rights history in the American South. So I'm on a journey along the civil rights trail to experience firsthand the soul of the South. Today I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. First, I'm meeting up with Robert Luckett, Professor of History at Jackson State University, who explains to me why this city was so important to the civil rights movement.
The power of place is a real thing. You can come into the Cotho Civil Rights Education Center and you can be in a room where you see an image of Martin Luther King and his staff attending a meeting in 1964 in the room you're sitting in. The atmosphere in Mississippi and in Jackson is rife with that history, and you can feel it when you're in those tangible spaces.
Tell me more about freedom riders, how they ended up getting arrested at this Greyhound bus terminal.
The idea was to desegregate interstate bus travel in the American South. There would be 329 people arrested that summer in Jackson as this array of folks who literally risked their lives coming into this city to demand that the nation live up to its own laws.
In many ways, ordinary people, they did extraordinary things.
You had to empower people at the grassroots level first if you're going to fundamentally change anything, and you can learn all about that here in Jackson. You can be in those spaces and you can feel that history in very, very real ways.
To learn more about a key leader in the civil rights movement, I'm meeting up with Keena Graham, who works for the Medgar and Merle Evers Home National Monument.
This was the hub of the civil rights movement, especially in Jackson. We are working on projects for the 60th commemoration of the death of Medgar Evers.
Could you tell us more about who the man was and his importance?
Medgar Evers was kind of an introvert. He was a servant leader. He was always, how can I help you? His gift was bringing everybody to the table to work for one mission, and that mission was bringing truth and justice and equity to everyone. So you can see where the bullet came through.
Unbelievable. It's really haunting being in here. It just feels really normal, you know? And then to think of that disrupted by this act of violence, this bullet hole coming through.
We want people to not just think about his death, but we want to celebrate his life. Feel that, be inspired by that, and be inspired to take action.
Next, I head to the two museums, a venue that houses both the Mississippi Civil Rights Museum and the Museum of Mississippi History. Me and Michael Morris discuss the state's complex past, and he tells me what he thinks this venue best represents.
What do you think people or international visitors will get when they enter this space?
Really the national story, the story of the United States. Our Civil Rights Museum is about ordinary people, and I think that's the driving force of not only the civil rights movement, but of the legacy of those museums, is that it's uplifting these ordinary folks that were able to get engaged in this fight for justice. And I think that's something that everybody can take something away from.
The movement that took place in Mississippi didn't just change Mississippi, it didn't just change the nation, it changed the world.
While inside the museums, I take the opportunity to meet executive chef Nick Wallace. A Mississippi native, Nick's latest culinary venture, the Nissan Cafe, inside the two museums, seemed like the perfect place to stop and sample some local cuisine.
A lot of times people, when they reference soul food, they think of fried chicken. They think of mac and cheese. But I think soul food is all about the love and the care that you put in. So regardless of whatever it is, it comes from the soul. So when people visit here from other places, I get to kind of set the stage, and people are always so floored because they thinking they're just coming here for a turkey sandwich, and we're really cooking for you. And I can't wait for you to try this Mississippi gumbo.
That is delicious.
The city of Jackson places its vital role in the civil rights movement front and centre. And for me, there's still a whole lot more to explore in the city with soul.